We are being joined by Hemang Jani. Hemang, very good morning. And firstly, help us with your take on the markets then, because all in all, the direction doesn't seem to be that clear for the markets. Why so? Because a couple of factors are weighing heavy. Seems like there are no big hopes from the earnings seasons. The FIIs is still not finding India an attractive bet, and the markets definitely are not sustaining at the higher levels. Given the construct of the market, where do you see the markets headed, and what are the factors that could be playing in at this point?
Good morning, and thanks for having me on the show. So clearly, this last 3 months have been quite difficult for the market, and the way the situation is evolving, wherein on the one hand, the earnings is going to be quite subdued. At the same time, globally, the dollar index keeps making high. The FI sell flows continue. So I think in that kind of a scenario, it would be fair to assume that there is some more grind that the market will have to go through. Also, there is a sector rotation that we are witnessing, wherein the best performing stocks, names like Dixon and Trent, etc., they are going through a bit of a correction, and the consumption stocks and some of the laggards, they are making a comeback, like Reliance Industries. So I think we will have to be far more cautious at this point of time and look for opportunities where there is slightly better earning surprise.
All right.
What's the view on Swiggy? Bernstein initiated coverage with a 20% plus upside. They're saying that the discount which it trades at versus Zomato is uncalled for and the duopoly can exist.
I think these companies are going through a correction, and while the market expectations in terms of earnings are very high, and the companies are also investing in newer formats and newer products also. So my feel is that there can be some more pain, and we should be looking to buy into Swiggy if there is a another maybe 10-12% kind of a cut around earnings, because these are the pockets where the consensus is very high. A lot of people have already owned these names, both at the time of IPO and post listing also, and it has been a star performer. But I think there is a bit of a sector rotation at play, and you might see a bit of a more cool off before the stock really bounces back.
All right, it's very, very, very divided on where metals would move. And Hemang, when for those who want to buy metals, they say China will come back. For those who want to sell metals, they say China will not make a comeback. Is this China factor the only factor to decide metals?
Yeah, the fact of the matter is that the sector has been out of flavor for a while, and when we see the dollar index, going up, and the data points from China not being so supportive, and this whole talk about the treaties being imposed and the stimulus, that's taking a much longer time, to come through. So I think, while the, let's say, metal companies, be it Tata Steel, SAIL, they have corrected a lot. And maybe this quarter, or at least on the India operation side, things are going to be better. But there is no case for a significant rally in the metal pack at this point of time. So I would not really, try to buy into it, at least from a positional or slightly longer term perspective. If you want to play a bit of a pullback, maybe JSW Steel, could be a good one to really look at, because quarterly number side, there can be a little bit of a positive traction there.
Are the top bets within the cement pack, but one of the other stocks that gonna be in focus today is definitely United Breweries, because just yesterday we have seen a fall of 4% coming in on that counter after the company did say that they have suspended beer supply to Telangana Beverage Corporation. But a clarification, or rather comments coming in from Telangana State Minister, saying that they are reviewing the company's price hike request, and they do admit around 650 odd crores dues to UB Group, because earlier the markets were anticipating that this number is close to 900 crores. Hemang, your take on this particular news flow, because some of these analysts were expecting, we also had a chat just yesterday in the closing trades, that this could be actually a temporary glitch in the supply. What is your take on United Breweries? Do you believe that this issue could be resolved really soon and maybe the supplies could resume?
One important aspect is that Telangana is an important state for the spirit industry per se. It accounts for about 5 to 7% of the total revenue. And if there is going to be a meaningful review on the pricing side, and if the company is able to kind of normalize its operations, surely it's going to be a big positive. Because otherwise, also, if you see in the last, let's say, 2 quarters, both UBL and United Spirits have done well in terms of their premium product sales. So, certain important states like Telangana, and some other states like Karnataka and Delhi and all of that. If you see any meaningful uptick in the next couple of quarters, people would surely want to get into this theme. So I do think that though the stock has remained a bit volatile in the last few days, there is a possibility of resolution of this issue with the government, which would surely be a big positive trigger for both UPL and United Spirits.
Hemang, there seems to be a tilt still towards this manufacturing EMS stocks. Where is the Keynes headed? Where is the Dixon headed? Where will Amber move? I mean, these are stocks which are, the companies are growing, admittedly, but P multiples are north of 50, 60, 70, 80 times.
I agree, Nikunj, that because our overall market was really not growing at a fast pace, you had certain pockets of themes, something like an EMS or the platform companies, something like a trend, where many investors were, investing in, and those companies were delivering much better growth, and they outperformed the market over the last, let's say, about 6 to 12 months. So maybe there is a bit of a rotation at play where you're seeing a bit of a profit booking come through in names like Dixon or Trend, or for that matter, some of the platform companies. I do think that the manufacturing as a theme is not just 1 or 2 quarter theme. It's going to play out over the next maybe few years. And if you see, the sustenance of growth in the quarterly numbers and the outlook from the management, surely people would want to relook at, some of these companies. So Dixon, definitely, if there's another maybe, 8-10% kind of a cut, should provide a good entry point to my mind.
So Dixon maybe at some lower levels could be an attractive bet. But Hemang, any of the chemical plays that you like at this point in time? Because just yesterday we were having a chat with a chemical expert where he just highlighted that the refrigerants inventories have actually bottomed down, which is like good for Indian companies. And even on the stock reaction, we are seeing stocks like SRF perking up. So any chemical play that you like at this point in time, and any fundamental trigger related to that?
I think some of the companies have done well, something like Ami Organics, even SRF, Navin Fluorine are seeing a bit of a pullback in the market, partly because of this refrigerant pricing part, partly because of the better visibility on their global business. So I do think that when there are very few pockets where you can really put your hand and say that there's going to be a certain growth, I think this particular pocket still looks like a good hiding ground. So I think one can really look at, something like Ami Organic or, Navin Fluorine at this point of time, at least from a medium-term perspective.
With this, Hemang, we'll let you go on that. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us this morning.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.